So today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to get started with Reading A to Z. Reading A to Z is actually part of the Learning A to Z platform. If you go to Reading A to Z's website or learningatozee.com, it will all take you to this same page that has multiple tabs up at the top. So Learning A to Z has Reading A to Z, Raz Plus, Raz Kids, Headsprout, Science A to Z, Writing A to Z, Vocabulary A to Z. So Reading A to Z is mostly the difference is that it incorporates lesson plans for teachers. It has thousands of books available on 26 different levels from A to Z, and teachers can look at worksheets, templates, lesson plans, all of that for the different books that are on Reading A to Z. Raz Kids is the app version of Reading A to Z. It's an app that learners can use at home, download to their own device, and read the Reading A to Z books that way. However, not all of the Reading A to Z books are on Raz Kids app, just some of them. There's still quite a large selection. So the Raz Kids is the app version. Raz Plus includes both Reading A to Z and Raz Kids all in one license. So if you know that you want both of them, it's cheaper to buy the Raz Plus. You get a little bit of a discount for buying both that way. I'm going to log into my Raz Plus account because that's what my school has. The first thing you need to do is add your students using this Manage Students link. You manage students, add students, and if you have a spreadsheet of all the students' names, you can actually quickly add them by uploading this file here. When you're on like a Google Excel or Google Sheets or Excel document, up at the top you can change it and click download as a CSV file. That's what you have to do, and then you upload it. It will upload all your students at once. Otherwise, you can also just add them manually. So you just type in their name. Usually for the username, like I'll just keep their first name. Let's say the name is Joshua. That's going to be his username. His first name is Joshua. His last name is Brown. If you want to put a district ID in, you can. You're going to select his grade level. You're going to select whether or not you want Raz Plus to conduct a placement assessment on him or not. So if you want to do that so that it will give you recommendation on what level to place him at, you can assign a placement tool. If you don't, you can just choose what level you want him to be at. Each level, it will tell you a Fountas and Pinnell reading level that's associated with it, a DRA level, and a lexical level that are the same as this Reading A to Z level. It also gives you for grades that are common for that grade level. So he's in grade 2. Grade 2 starts here in K. It's the beginning of the year. He's about normal reading level, so I'm going to just start him with level K. Okay, then you're going to need to choose a password. So you can use either a text, like a word, as their password, or for younger students, you can use pictures as a password. So I'm going to use the picture, and you're going to pick 1 or 2 different icons. I usually start with the first 2, and then for each student, I just work my way down. That way I know I won't give the same student the same password. All right, you can click and add another student right here, or you can just save and continue. So now he is part of my roster now. These are all students that I have from before. And here's Joshua, the one I just added. Okay, so here from your roster, let's go back a little bit to show you how I got here if you want to get here again. Okay, so you're on your account, you went to manage students. Okay, you, instead of adding student, you go to roster. You can view your students by, like, for example, my homeroom. Okay, I have other students in here that I share with other teachers. So I would click other teachers if I'm trying to view the students that I'm sharing with that one. I'm just going to see my homeroom. I click here. Okay, so on your roster, you can see again their password. You can see the grade that they're in. Also add groups. So if I have differentiated small groups and I want to cluster them and assign them different books, I would put them in those groups. So let's say John is in my middle level group, and the middle level group is my orange group. Okay, so I'm going to click on John's name. Let's say John and Joshua are both in that group. Okay, I'm going to put orange group. Okay, add. Now they are both in the orange group. So later on, when I want to assign a book, I can choose to only assign that book to the orange group. Here is my incentives. We'll talk about the incentives later, but you can turn off or turn on the incentives from here in your roster. You can also decide what kind of portal they see. For younger students, it's best to keep it at the primary. If you have a little bit older students, you can choose the intermediate. It just looks a little bit different, more mature apparently for older students if you want that portal. Okay, you can also just delete students this way and edit them this way. So that's from your student roster. All right, so now that you have your students uploaded, you have given them all passwords, and you've assigned them levels, the next thing you need to do is you need to tell your students and parents how they can access Reading A to Z. So here you can click Student Login Cards, and you can automatically print little cards with the information of all of your students. So it gives the name of the student, my username as a teacher, because they actually have to add that first before they log in. It tells them their student name and their password. So you just print these off, you cut them here on the dashed lines, and you give it to the students. Then there's also parent letters that you can print. Okay, you can select what language you want in case you're in an international school and you have parents from different languages. A single PDF, so I just want all the letters to come out at the same time. I want it to be for all of my students. If you get a new student later on in the year and you only need to print out the new student's letter, then you just click on the one student that you want to print out. Okay, I click download. And it's going to give me a letter, again with login information for the parent. Not really sure why it's blank. Let's try someone different. Let's just see all of them. Okay. All right, so each one is different. Here's John Smith's letter, okay? The next one is for Joshua Brown. So you have to pay attention which letter goes with which child. So it gives the parents a little introduction about what Reading A to Z is. It tells them the website to go on to, tells them your student or your username, the student's username, and the student's password. Then it talks about how they can get information on how their child is progressing, your teacher address, and if you want them, they can sign it and bring it back. I usually don't make them do that. Okay, so all those are really easy. Now you have everything you need to get your kids started